Paul. I'm the VP of Ops here at devCodeCamp, and today I am with Matt Cordier, who is the very first musician we've ever had at our camp. And that was what, almost 6 years ago.
It was, yeah, just about 6 years ago.
So one of the common questions we get is, why do musicians make good developers?
Why do musicians make good developers?
And let's back up. I mean, you were you still are a professional drummer.
Correct.
You've been teaching drum lessons. I can see the kit behind you.
Yeah.
But, oh wow, multiple kits.
Yeah, it's an obsession.
Why is it?
Why is it that they make that the transition is from music to development is a bit easier?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of factors involved. One of the biggest things about studying music is it's very much a solitary endeavor as you're learning music. So if you have to learn tunes or you have to develop your technique, there's a certain dedication to working on the craft and paying attention to very, very minute details. You're constantly looking to improve, and that's one of the key components of sustaining a development career, is always be improving. You can't just stay stagnant. Like, I know this basic core technology, I know how to deal in these systems here. It's going to change in a few months, and you have to be ready to learn new things constantly. So that's a big parallel in music.
So you were the absolute very first musician we ever had in our camp. And honestly, I remembered your entire story. You were in Chicago. Your wife got a job at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, right? Yep. You had a daughter at the time. She was 4.
Yep.
And you said, I want to learn to code. And then you walked around like a dinosaur. And I was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? I don't know what it is, but I love him. And I was nervous because you were in a cohort years ago with a person who had a CS degree. And I was thinking, okay, how are we going to do this? And you were one of the people that made me realize that it's not about, like, somebody who's into tech or things like that. I mean, you were, but you weren't like, that guy into tech.
Right.
You were a person who wanted to make things. And that's when I went, okay, now I get it. And thank you for doing that, because it was so cool to be proven wrong, where I went, oh, okay, no, this guy gets it. It really is about the mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, it's there's a certain amount of aptitude for it, but the mindset, as long as you believe that you can grow as a person, if you're in that kind of abundance mindset, if you're not locked into saying, your self-talk being like, I'm never good at math, or I'm not good at science, or I don't pay attention to details, that kind of stuff will just kill you. But as long as the approach is, okay, I don't understand what's going on right now, but I can figure it out, and that's what served me. I'll say that. And then being curious, asking questions, and learning how to refine the questions that you're asking is a very important part of the learning process. And that's kind of a thing that I started learning at devCodeCamp was like, I don't even know the questions I'm supposed to be asking. And then through devCodeCamp, I started to clarify, like, oh, these are the questions to ask. And that's really served me in the job, in in the jobs that I've had, it's always about getting to the heart of like, what is the question I should be asking right now? Because if you can ask the right question, you can find the right answer.
Right. So what are you doing now?
So right now, I am a web application developer for a company in Palmyra, Wisconsin. Um, and I am helping develop their new website. It's a bit of a hybrid front end and back end develop position. I wouldn't say that I'm full stack, primarily front end developer, but we are building out a templated website project for this company. It's a manufacturing company, and just kind of helping along the marketing efforts with this company. Uh, right now, it's funny, I'm drawing a blank on like all the projects, but there's like 15 projects going on at once. So the newest thing that I will be working on is a checkout for what we're calling a guest checkout. So people who don't have an account with the company but are allowed to purchase products through our website.
Cool.
That's the next project on the horizon.
I mean, you are definitely a success story for us. And it's not just because of us, it's because of you and us together. So the reason I reached out to you was because we had all these musicians going, yeah, but I'm not really sure. What do you tell them? What do you say? What do you say to somebody who's like, yeah, this is my gig now, but here's where I want to go. I've got this interest in tech.
Yeah. Those are deep life questions, because as a musician, you're on a certain trajectory and you have to put your entire being into that. And really your identity becomes like, I'm a drummer or I'm a songwriter. This is who I am. This is what I do. And within the musical community, there's a stigma at certain levels of being like, yeah, I've got a day gig. I pursue music, but this is what I do to pay the bills. Some musicians feel like if you're not 100% music, you're not cool or you're not legit. And I felt that myself. So there's a little bit of fear in letting go of that identity of like, I am a drummer. This is what I do. But once I got over that, what I realized is there's seasons and there's cycles in your life. And sometimes life is more about learning your craft as a musician. Sometimes it's about creating a stable environment in your life where you can grow off of that. And I think what I'm looking for and where I'm seeing opportunity is moving from music to code. For some people, it's saying like, that chapter of my life is done. Now I'm doing this. For other people, it's like, this is a very important part of my life. And now I'm going to use this new skill that I developed to create even more opportunities for myself.
Awesome.
So yeah, I could
So,
talk on and about it, but let's.
So let's brag about you a little bit. Biggest gig you played?
Biggest gig recently, I think I played Jazz in the Park a couple of years ago to about 5,000 people in Milwaukee.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Nice.
Other highlights, just a lot of street festivals where there's several thousand people. A couple tours with some independent bands that were quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, tell everybody how awesome I am.
Where do I start, Paul? Well, I will say this. Being part of devCodeCamp was a huge challenge, and having you as the person that I could talk to about any questions that I had with the program, any concerns I had about any aspect of the business and what was happening at the camp, you were a great listener. And now I am bragging about you a little bit. And so to have a person in an organization that just gives you the focus and gives you the time and listens to what you say, thinks about it, and then, has something to offer back to you, that was very important. So
Uh,
I'm done with bragging now.
I appreciate that. You know, I think it comes down to this. It's, like putting the right people together. And it doesn't happen without somebody like you. And I want to thank you for taking the time today to share your experience and share to other people who haven't really thought about this as like an option, because there are so many really smart people that should consider this, who are from a totally different world. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's art, sometimes it's, whatever. But it always comes back to this. I think in reality, it's just people like creating things and solving problems. And we need more of those people to look at this as an avenue to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem solving.
You're
What's
the
it?
best. You're the best.
Thank you.
The problem solving, it's big.
Yeah. I'm a type of person that likes to, if there's a knot in my shoelace, I'm going to sit there and work on it till I get it cleared out,
Kids, go away. I've got to take care of this knot in my shoelace.
Focus on this. There's a puzzle. Yeah. The puzzle part is fun.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.